Right, service time for the Electraglide. Anyone who hasn't watched the other videos, it's 2005 Electraglide Ultra Classic 1450 twin cam 88 cube, and basically since I rebuilt the engine and everything, it's I only managed to get about 2,500 miles done last year, and then it got laid up over winter. A lot of stuff on, busy at work, etc. So yeah, I'm just giving it a service, gonna give it a service should I say, and on this service it'll just be all the oils like gearbox oil, primary oil, engine oil, oil filter and plugs. It's not getting an air filter because the one that's in, it's only done about 500 mile. I changed that last year, so that'll just get a blowout. But for anyone who has watched the rebuild videos, this thing has run flawlessly, absolutely perfect it is. Well, I'm biased like obviously, but no, it is, it's running spot on. Absolutely brilliantly, never misses a beat. So right, what we're going to start with is, as you can see there, I've got the oil tray set up underneath already, and there's, I don't know if you'll see it there, that plug there is your oil drain for your primary. So what I'll do is I'm going to take the foot peg off, rear footboard, then take that inspection cover off, and then I'll undo the drain plug and drain the oil out of that. So I'll get my tools sorted and get this thing put on a tripod, and I'll get started. So back in a minute. Right, as I say, we're going to start by taking this footboard off, which is a 5/16 Allen head on this. Right, so that's the footboard off. Take that to one side. And the next thing we'll do is we'll take the inspection cover off. Just loosen them all off first. Right, stick that off to one side, just grab a rag to sit this on. Right, the next thing we'll do is take this drain plug out, which I think if I move you down a bit, Yeah, you can see it on, I think, just, yeah. So, and basically just let that drain out. You can see on there, it's a little bit of shit to be expected. Right, so while that drains, I'll just knock you off for now and let that drain, and we'll come back when it's done. I'm back soon. Right, the oil's drained out of this primary. I'm just going to take off the primary chain inspection cover, because we'll be checking that as well. And it's easy to tell the difference between the screws you're taking out of your primary chain inspection cover and your clutch cover, because the clutch cover ones are a lot shorter. Though you can't really, well, you can mix them up if you're a bit blind, but no, you'll know if you've got the wrong ones. Gasket and cover off. I'm suspecting that the chain should be alright. Feels alright, but I'll do a proper check on it. Right, now that we've done that, what I'll do is I'll just knock you off for a minute. I'm going to put the bike up on its stand, not on its stand, on the lift. One, my oil drain won't go underneath the bike because it's a bit too high. The oil drain, that is. The catch tray, should I say. So I'm going to put the lift underneath the bike and lift it up a bit, and then we'll drain the oil out of the sump for the engine oil, and gearbox oil will be drained out as well. So I'll just knock you off for now. I'll be back in a minute. Right, I've got the bike up on its stand. As you can see there, this drain plug here, which is, it's on the sump pan that's on the bottom of your gearbox. That plug there is your gearbox oil drain plug. Now, let's see if I can get it. The one there on the end, this one that I've just blocked your view from, that's your engine oil drain plug. So you just basically get your tray underneath, crack them, drain the oil out. Because it's such an awkward place to try and film, I'm just going to do it. I'll knock you off, crack them off, drain the oil out, and I'll come back when I'm done. Right, up along. Right, as you can see there, gearbox oil is draining out into, it's just a foil tray that you'd get in like a takeaway or something like that. I save all these because they are handy for stuff like this. What I should have said before I cut you off on the last bit, undo your filler so it drains out, doesn't like go slow because it's creating a vacuum or whatever. And same on your engine oil, just pull your plug out just so the air can get in as it's draining out, and just drain out a bit quicker, that's all. Right, knock you off again for now. Right, we've put I've put the oil drain plug back in for the tranny, put a new O-ring on, and the reason I always put new O-rings on, I'll see if I can keep this in camera view, is, I don't know if you can see so well on that, zoom in a bit. Put it in my hand. You can see that the edges of it are like a bit sort of stripped off compared to the new O-ring. The new O-ring there, that's for the oil, for the engine oil drain plug, which I haven't put back in yet. But yeah, always put a new O-ring on. Just obviously less chance of an oil leak. Right, we're going to put the tranny oil in, and basically, if you have your bike upright, on your dipstick, that you put your oil in. Can't see this. I'll just turn this screen a bit. Right, you put your dipstick in and just let it rest on the threads, pull it out and check your oil level, and you've got two marks on your dipstick, obviously very low and full, and that's, zoom out a bit, that's what I use for my transmission, motor factory stuff. Now, I've used this for a long time, and for me personally it seems to be good stuff, so obviously other people can use what they choose to use, it's up to them. So I'll get the top off this. Now, it doesn't use the full bottle, that's a quart of transmission fluid, but it doesn't use the full quart. It uses in between sort of 600 and 700 millilitres, I think. So I'll just put my little funnel in there and start pouring it in. Now, this is a slow funnel. I really should get a better one. Yeah, I also use the motor factory oil, engine oil, which is a 2050, and motor factory primary fluid as well. As I say, I've used it for quite a while now, and it seems to be good stuff. I mean, it states on just turn that round. States on the bottle there, made in the USA for use in Harley Davidsons. So yeah, and I just buy a kit. You get I can't quite see from here. 1 gallon of engine oil, a quart of chain case, like primary oil, a quart of transmission fluid, and you get, like for mine obviously, a chrome oil filter and a pair of plugs. But I won't be changing the plugs neither. I said earlier I'd be changing the plugs, but I've got Axel plugs in at the minute, and they're quite good. So I'll take them out and have a look at them though, see how they're faring. And if they're still good, I'll just leave them in. But if I think they're looking a bit crap, I'll put the new ones in that came with the kit. And this is slow going with this. What I'll do is I'll knock it off, and when I get it up to a bit closer to level, or to the level, I'll come back. Right, I've got it up to level, but to check, blocky for you then, to check your level, just stick your plug in. Now this might show a bit thin because I've rocked it about. Put it straight in and just let it rest on the threads, don't screw it in. And then when you pull it out, as you can see there, well, I'm hoping you can see, it's just up to that top line. So that's the level sorted. And what I'll do is, after I've given it a run for a while, I'll just double check the level. So basically for now, that's your oil, your gearbox oil, sorry, done. So just screw your filler bit back in. Also, what I should have said was, when you put your drain plug back in, I torque them up to 26 Newton meters. Don't over tighten them, and don't over tighten this one either. I think this is something stupid, like 8 Newton meters is all it needs to be torqued up to if you use a torque wrench. But just nip it up by hand, and it'll be right. So that's the gearbox done for now. So I'll knock you off and we'll get changed somewhere different. Right, I've adjusted the play in the clutch cable. Basically I've adjusted it so you've got maximum free play in the cable. So what we're going to do is, I'll just get you back on this tripod, is we're going to adjust the clutch. Well, we're going to see what the crack is with it anyways. Right, and as I've sort of got myself a bit forwarded, I need to get some tools. Right, I'll just knock you off a sec and get some tools. Back in a minute. Right, get your Allen key and your spanner. Just get your Allen key in the adjuster screw, and with your spanner back your lock nut off a bit, and then just wind your adjuster screw in till it just lightly seats. You'll feel it straight away. Don't want to put any pressure on it, just so it lightly seats. See where your Allen key's pointing, and you want to go half to 1 turn back. So I usually have mine on about 3/4. Tighten it up. And then hold the Allen key steady, spanner in, and just lock it in place. And then get your Allen key out. And then basically once that's done, you just need to adjust your cable back up until you've got sort of in between a 16th and an 1/8 of free play on your handlebars, or to what you're happy with. So I'll get that adjusted up and then come back and we'll check the primary chain, and then we'll get some oil in the primary. Right, back in a minute. Right, I'm just going to put the drain plug back in the primary case. Just make sure there's no remnants of any oil in there. I've put a new O-ring on the plug. I've also put a little bit of thread sealer on, and it's not a thread locker, it's just a thread sealer. Just wind it in. Now there's a torque setting for this, and it's something ridiculous like 6 Newton meters. So basically just nip it up. Because of the low torque setting, that's why I always put a thread sealer on the drain plugs. And just like a double protection against any oil leaks. Right, what I'll do, I'll try and move you so you can see. I'm just going to check the primary chain for adjustment, see if it needs adjusted. Now, on a cold engine, the adjustment on this is 5/8 to 7/8 of movement. Now, I don't know if I'm going to block your view here, I'll try not to. So, I'll put my rule in till it just touches the chain without moving it. I'm going to try and do this without blocking your view. So you don't want it to touch, you want it to touch the chain, but you don't want it to move it. And then set yourself a datum point, and then push the chain up. And that, if I let that back off and do it again, and that is actually between 5/8 and 7/8. So it's like 3/4, because it was close to like what you could call 6/8, which is obviously 3/4. So the primary chain doesn't need adjusted. If it did need adjusted, you just loosen your bolt off in there. Sorry, your nut, fucking bolt and nut, and then just lift it up and down to suit whatever the adjustment is you need until you've got it right. So. Right, and what we'll do now, while it's upright, again, a motor factory. I'm trying to read that backwards in the camera. Primary chain case lubricant. There's a quart in this. So, and it actually takes a quart in the primary. So 1 quart, 946 millilitres, which is what this thing takes. Now I'm just going to pour it in here, keeping an eye on the level as it comes up. Make sure I'm not going to yeah, so just pour the full bottle in into your primary, because that's the quantity you buy, well, like a quart or 946 millilitres. That's actually what it takes. Last few drips out the bottle. Pretty much, I've probably got 3 millilitres left in the bottle once you let it settle back down in the bottle. So that's pretty much it. Primary fluid back in. So I'll walk you off a sec, clean the covers up, and then we'll put them back on. Right, we'll put these covers back on. Now just line your gasket up with one of the holes on there. And then offer it up. Don't tighten it tight because you want to get your other bolts through and make sure that it doesn't nip your gasket in the wrong spot. Now I've reused my gaskets because the gaskets were alright. They're sort of designed to be reused a couple of times. So just nip your bolts up. Screws, whatever you want to call them. Now these all torque up to 12 Newton meters. What I'll do is I'll put the clutch inspection cover back on. Get the holes to line up in the gasket. Grab the screws. Get it through. And same thing, just start screwing it in, but don't tighten it. Just get it so far so that everything still moves, and then you can line your gasket up. Make sure that it's going where it should be. Right, and then just get your torque wrench set. As I say, 12 Newton meters. Right, I've got 2 knackered screws here. Right, I've got 2 screws that I need to check, so I might just ratchet out some new ones. So I'll knock you off for now, I'll come back in a minute.